Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be on my makeup favorites for 2015, and I've got a lot more than I thought I was going to have. At first I started out writing a list midway through the year being like, yes, I like this, and then by the time I got to December I was like, there's a lot more in this than I intended. So I hope you enjoy. I'm just going to start right out of the bat with my favorite eyeshadows because for me that's the most interesting thing. My favorite palette this year has definitely been the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette. I know a lot of people prefer the original palette, and that is lovely, but for me these shades just worked so much better. There's a lot of warm tone shades in this palette, and that's just what I personally prefer to wear. And of course it smells like chocolate, so that just makes me happy whenever I open it. And on the more expensive side of things, I picked up the Charlotte Tilbury Vintage Vamp Quad, which has 4 lovely warm tone shades. This is more of a champagne pink, and then these 2 shades are quite similar to each other. They look, actually on camera, they look quite different, which is nice, but I find in practice they end up looking quite the same on the lid. I just really like them because this was more of a red tone palette compared to the rest of them. And the glitter top coat is mostly just a top coat. Like, you don't get a ton of pigment, but it is mostly glitter. And this just felt really luxurious to me. I've never had a palette that was so expensive and by a makeup artist that I enjoy so much. So I was really excited to have this year. I am known for quite bright eyeshadow looks, so it's kind of funny that those palettes are so very neutral, but I finally found what I would call my perfect neon red. And I know no one looks for that color. No one wants a neon red eyeshadow. But I'm that person. I'm that person that wants a red neon eyeshadow. This is the Kryolan UV-RED. Kryolan calls it a UV Day Glow Compact Color for special effects. I just wear this as an eyeshadow. You do need a base because it can be quite chalky, but that's because it is a neon pigment. So I wear this over NYX's eyeshadow base, or NYX's Milk base, and I mean, just look at that. Just look at that. That's color and a half. So I love wearing this all over the lid with black in the outer corner. My 2 favorite foundations for the year are the Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum and the Boots No. 7 Instant Radiance Foundation. I wear the shade Cool Vanilla, and in Bourjois this one is number 52 Vanilla. These are brand new bottles because I've already finished up full sizes of this year. They were included in a Use Up 2015 blog post that I'll link down below if you're interested. These are just fantastic. This is probably my favorite. It smells good. The coverage is excellent. It's not too much. It's not too heavy. It's just right for me. And then this is more coverage for me, but still medium. And it's just lovely and radiant on the skin. So hands down, favorite foundations. I just wish they were more readily accessible in Canada. The Boots No. 7, not at all. You can't find this at Shoppers. They don't sell the makeup line there. And the Bourjois, they do sell at Shoppers. It's just slightly more expensive than if you were picking it up in the UK. Still well worth the price tag though. 2015 was also the year that I discovered House of Lashes. Now, previously I had used a lot of drugstore brands that just never really worked out for me. They either didn't last long enough, or the band was too sturdy or too flimsy and would just fall apart. So I finally ordered from House of Lashes, and then I gave up on everything else. So House of Lashes has become my absolute favorite false lash brand. The ones I wear the most, and I'm wearing them today, are the Bombshell ones. These are more of a simple lash. They're not too heavy or too thick, and when I wear a bright eyeshadow look, I don't want my lashes to cover everything, so I tend to prefer reaching for these. Also worth mentioning is the House of Lashes Lash Glue. I had used Duo for years and years and years and years, and I don't know if the formula changed or something like that, but they just stopped working. It wouldn't stick to my lids, and I was like, what the hell? So when I ordered from House of Lashes, I got their glue because it was highly recommended, and I'm not changing to anything anytime soon. This is the best stuff for getting lashes to stay put all day. I don't get any pinging off at the ends. It just works. Because I'm quite pale, I have quite a love affair with bronzer, and you would think being quite fair, I wouldn't be able to carry it off, but I tell you what, you can carry off any bronzer if you know how to blend it. One of my favorite bronzers this year has been the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion. This is their darkest shade in the matte version, so this is 30M. This sucker's dark, but this will blend so nicely on me, especially if I have a tan. It is quite dark. So it looks very pigmented, because it is, but it will blend out nicely. Now, this works a lot better for me in the summer months because then I've got more of a tan, but I can still wear it. The other bronzer that really surprised me this year is the SST Cosmetics. This is their signature series. It's a radiant finish bronzer in the shade Sunkissed, but it's pretty much a, this is what confuses me. So in the pan and in a swatch, it looks very warm toned. There's even some gold glitter in here. And yet when I put it on my face, it just looks very natural. And I really don't know how a warm tone bronzer does that because I usually want more of a cool shade. But this one, I don't know, it just works. And to compare it to the Makeup Forever, you can see that it is paler and it definitely is more warm toned. But I would say don't be scared off by the fact that it's so warm toned. It does work really, really nicely on the skin. And back on the Charlotte Tilbury train, this is the Film Star Bronze and Glow. This is the paler one. I know they have a darker one now, and this one has a sculpt shade, which is almost worn off at this point, and a highlight shade. I don't contour. I don't think I'm very good at it or really have the base structure for it. So I use the sculpt shade more as a bronzer, and the highlight shade is self-explanatory. But the sculpt shade is so nice because it's matte, which means it's not gonna look super shiny or shimmery. And the highlight shade is glowy. Like this guy glows. And if you can see them on my hand, there's a sculpt shade and there's the highlight. However, what would a favorites be without including the legendary Champagne Pop? Now, people went absolutely batty for this, and this was my first highlighter by Becca, and now I understand why. The pigmentation is intense. It's so lovely to apply to the skin because you just get a glow right off the bat. And you know what? I don't care how many layers of this I apply, I just keep going until I'm radiating everywhere. And here's a swatch of it. Now, I know a lot of fair people were concerned that this was going to be too dark for their skin tone, and I'm around an NW NC20 in MAC terms, and this works fine to me because it does give a really lovely reflection. I wore this so many times as soon as I got my hands on it, and it just became a staple in my collection. My favorite liner of the year turned out to be the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Trooper. I love this because it has a brush tip and the ink comes very fluidly out of the tip of it. It's one of the easier ones to use because it's got a brush tip, it will just, when you apply pressure, it thickens, as opposed to, I don't know, with felt tips, I struggle with them. They don't bend as nicely because they're usually too sturdy. And this is just, I mean, if you suck at doing eyeliner or you really need to do eyeliner quickly, which is usually why I reach for this, this is totally something you need to have in your collection. My only very small complaint with this though is that it's not truly matte. There is a bit of a sheen to it, and I really wish there was just a completely matte version because that would be it for me. All right, so to preface this one, I will say that I have been predominantly a drugstore mascara lover for years. I thought spending a huge amount of money on mascara, which you basically throw out after 4 months, was a ridiculous waste. Unfortunately, however, Makeup Forever has changed my mind on that. This is the Makeup Forever Smoky Stretch Mascara, and I love this thing. I can't tell you how much I love this thing. I originally got my first tube at a media event back in April when they were launching it, and since then I've used that tube up and I've purchased my own. This has the perfect one for me. It is very tapered at the top, and then it gets a little bit bigger as you go to the bottom. I prefer small mascara wands because they are so much easier to get into the small lashes, and this one combs through everything and separates everything beautifully. I can't say enough good things about this. I don't think I even want to go back to drugstore mascara, and I really hope that they keep this one going for years and years and years, because when they discontinue this, I am going to be so sad. So hands down, my favorite mascara to date, and this just might be my favorite product for all of 2015. I was so happy when I first used this, and still to this day. Just staying on the Makeup Forever train, I guess. This is the Step 1 Skin Equalizer by them. It's the smoothing primer. This is fantastic. It's a very, I don't even know if it has silicone in it, but it's got that slippery, silicone-y texture that I love putting on my face before I apply my foundation. So this has just been fantastic. It makes everything so much easier when you apply it to your face, and I just love it. All right, we're getting down to the end now, so I just have a few categories left. We have blush and lipstick. So starting off with blush, this was a limited edition as part of their, oh man, I don't even remember. Was this summer or the summer before? I guess I can tell on the back. Okay, I think it was last summer because it's A something 3 production code. Man, I thought this was this past year. This is the Extra Dimension blush in See Me, Hear Me. And I don't know why I loved it so much. It just seemed to be a blush that matched a lot of eye looks. The texture is very lovely, and it just applies really nicely. It's kind of a, I don't know, there's some orange to it, but it's mostly a pink brown, and it just seemed to really work with most of the eye makeup looks that I wore. Another product I tried out was the Honey Bronze Domes. Now they have a highlighter and a bronzer, but this, I'm specifically speaking about their blush shade. And this is a cream blush. It's a peachy pink with a bit of gold sparkle to it, so it's right there. And it's not dissimilar to the MAC one. It's just a bit more pink toned. So I mean, if I didn't want as much of a brownie orange, I could just go with the pink one. However, my favorite blush of the year has to be the Clinique Cheek Pop in Cola Pop. This color is magic. It looks terrifying. I'm sure a lot of people are terrified by the color because it's basically a dark red, but this can blend out incredibly well. So there's a heavy swatch. When I apply this with a blush brush, it just looks like that came in from the cold weather look. It looks rosy, it looks absolutely beautiful. All right, last up is lip product. So one I picked up in January, and it became my absolute favorite, I would say it's the be-all, end-all of lipsticks for me, is the MAC Retro Matte lipstick in Relentlessly Red. And this is a neon pinky red that is just phenomenal. I love wearing this. So there's a swatch. It is drying, it is a matte, but this stays on forever and it just makes me feel so alive. I absolutely love this shade. The next one is kind of really sad looking. I mean, it's like, it's at the end of its life, mostly because I practically murdered it. It barely stays on the bullet now, but this is Bite Beauty's Fig lipstick, and it is their Luminous Cream formula, and I have to be really gentle with it because it, like, seriously, it wants to fall off the base. So this is a huge favorite for wearing with bright eyeshadows. Now, the next one was sent to me, and it was the kind of shade that I would never have picked up myself. It's the Clarins Jolie Rouge lipstick in Rosy Nude. And it looked kind of pale to me. But when I first wore it, I was surprised with just how much I thought it flattered me. And compared to the Bite one, it's a little bit more peachy, and it's definitely lighter. The formula is also really soft, really hydrating. I would say because it's more of a luminous formula, it isn't as long wearing, but it's still really, really nice and comfortable to wear. And what would a lipstick's favorite be for me, unless I mentioned my Too Faced melted lipsticks? I want every color. I love these things. I have them as dark as Melted Villain. I have the well-known Melted Peony, and just about every shade in between. If I had to pick favorites though, one would be Melted Candy and the other one would be Melted Berry. Melted Candy is the kind of shade that I just love wearing if I'm going out or if I'm going to a club. It's really bright and vibrant, so I tend to wear more of a neutral eyeshadow look when I'm wearing it. And Melted Berry is more of a winter shade for me. It's the kind of shade that I really love to wear around the holidays. It's very much a true berry color and I just absolutely love it. And the very last product that I have is a lip gloss. Now, I'm not much of a lip gloss wearer. I find it wears off the lips too quickly. It's too sticky. I get like my hair caught in it. Like, there's no point in wearing your hair down if you're gonna wear lip gloss as far as I'm concerned. Cause it just, ugh. But I was recently introduced to the Sephora brand of lip glosses, and this one's called Queen Bee, and it's just fantastic. It's primarily a pink base, but the duochrome shimmer in it is incredible. I wore this a lot over the holidays because it was just a quick fix. And I'm really hoping you can see the duochrome in this. Like, it's multi-dimensional. It makes my lips look a little bit plumper than normal. I mean, I see pink, gold, yellow, really incredible. And that's it for my favorites. I really hope you enjoyed listening to all the things that I loved in makeup in 2015. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!